Hi everybody, welcome back to AYB Reviews. My name is Kevin and we're here today with another product from Silverstone. We've had a few products coming from Silverstone, and every time I've ever seen any of their stuff I've always been pretty impressed. I have a couple of their cases myself and I've used several of them in the past, and they always seem to be really good. So today we have the SG06 Lite, which is a mini ITX small form factor Sugo case. So if you're familiar with the Sugo line, they're basically a small form factor case that can fit a larger package inside. Basically you can get a large video card usually inside. They have them configured nicely for that sort of thing. So we're going to open this guy up and see what we've got. So just quickly cut the box with the knife. And there we go. So, this one, now Silverstone usually does that. They're pretty minimalistic with their packaging. Brown box with a little bit of a logo and some styrofoam. In reality, there's really no reason for a case to have any more than that. You pretty much know what you get when you buy it. So, find the opening here. There it is. Okay, so first thing I noticed is it's a unique color. It's kind of like a silver gray, sort of, almost a gunmetal, but a little lighter. It's kind of unique for a case at all, not just this size. I like it. You get a brushed aluminum front. It's got USB 3.0. It's got a headphone and microphone jack on the front, and a Delrin button. The whole thing is made of aluminum. It's pretty light, it's very sturdy, very solid. Now the back here, we've got space for a very small power supply. So as you can see, this is not your typical power supply size. It's going to be something a lot smaller, and in fact I have just beside me here something that will fit in there. So we'll get to that shortly. Does not come with thumb screws. So just a moment here. Alright, back with my screwdriver. Get you open. So thumb screws would have been nice, but I understand why they don't necessarily want to put them in. They're typically used for a case that you're going to open up a lot. And a small form factor case like this isn't really going to have a lot of upgrades. Once you build it, you're probably not going to want to be tinkering with it all that much. I know I don't with mine. And ooh, it's on there pretty tight. Let's see here. There we go. Starting to slide. Yeah, tight tolerances, kind of difficult. I'm going to mention that right now. It's kind of difficult to open up. There we go. Put a little pressure into it. Okay, now on the inside, as you see, it's very much opened up. There is not really anything else in there. You got your big 120mm fan for sucking up the air, and it's got a couple of cables for the front. They're actually a lot longer than I would have expected for this size of a case, but that's fine. And you got your, right here, looks like SSD slot, and up here at the top, this is for a optical drive, but a slim one. So basically like a laptop style slim drive. You can't get a full size 5 1/4 inch into there. On the bottom here, it appears you've got your full size hard drive, so a 3.5 inch hard drive can go into there. And as mentioned before, you got space for a small power supply. Now, I'm not yet sure what we got here. Oh, that's interesting, unique. reset switch is on the back instead of being on the front. So that's not something you see very often. Most of the time they'd opt for no reset switch rather than a reset on the back, but that's kind of neat. One thing to note here on the back itself is it's got 2 slots. So you can technically get a dual slot video card into here. And since there's nothing in the way, you get your full length space to put that in there. So you can get a pretty beefy video card in there, provided that the power supply that you have that fits inside will actually power that particular card that you want. Now, as I mentioned a moment ago, I have something over here on the side that will fit inside. So Silverstone was also gracious enough to provide us with a 450 watt small form factor power supply that's designed specifically to fit inside their Sugo line of ITX cases. So we'll get that opened up for you here. Okay, and as you can see, it really is probably the smallest power supply you've ever seen, ever. So it basically is a shrunk down version of the full-size thing. So you can see here you got your full-size power cord, typical. A much smaller fan. This looks like it's an 80 mil fan as opposed to a 120 mil fan. It is 100% modular, which is really something that is actually surprising, to say the least. I didn't actually know that this was going to be modular like that when I opened it. So that's pretty fantastic. And they've got a whole bundle of cables and a nice Velcro strap. You've got obviously your typical power cord, and you've got, this is a, looks like PCI Express, and no, sorry, this is the motherboard. This is PCI Express. You got a couple of Molex here. And yeah, also a couple of SATA. Pretty decent selection of cables in there. Provided some black screws. That's nice of them. Go with a black power supply. It'd be better if the case was black, but that's okay. And what's this? Oh, this is interesting. This is what appears to be a bracket to mount your small form factor power supply into a larger case that takes a full-size power supply. So if you have one of the other Sugo lines and you don't have a very powerful computer and it can be run off of a 450 watt power supply like this one, you can save yourself a little bit of space and actually make your cabling a little bit easier, and maybe you can even get a water cooling system in if you have a power supply that's this small. So that's something to think about for the future. And obviously with the power supply comes your power cord. Nothing really to say about that, pretty typical standard form. So I'll get that out of the way real quick. And I'll just show you right quickly how this mounts up inside the case. So there isn't a lot of extra space, to be quite honest with you. It pretty much goes in like this. Line it up, yeah, that's right there, that's it, that's the holes. And boom, you plug it in there. So the cords in this particular case, it's going to be jammed in there. But you can do it, you can make it happen. It's what it's designed for. And you obviously wouldn't get a full-size power supply into this, but it'll fit in here, and being modular, you can kind of just plug in only what you need, which is nice. So that's a pretty clever design, and you can get a nice ITX super portable. This would be a decent landing system, or if you just want like a media center system but you don't want it to look like a VCR, pretty much this is a nice little elegant aluminum case. I like it. It also comes in at least white. I know for a fact that it comes in white because I've seen another one. So multiple colors to choose from. Good package. If it's anything else like the previous Sugo line, solid build and good cooling and lots of space inside for anything that you need as far as a gaming build for portability. So thanks again to Silverstone for providing us with this SG06 Lite to review and show you guys, and same thing goes for the SFX series 450 watt small form factor power supply. So thank you again for tuning in, and we'll see you again next time on AYB Reviews. Have a great day.